All right, here we are, another Saturday Night Live Zoom on what's the date today? December the 1st. Wow, we're getting into the
Christmas.
Christmas seasons of 2018. Another year is almost gone, and we'll see what the plan is for 2019. Add another number.
There's only now, so.
Yeah, we had these fictitious numbers and keep track of the so-called time. But we're having some interesting weather in Toronto. We're getting cold, we're getting warm, cold, warm. It's not even winter yet. We have a few more weeks before we get into winter. So how is everybody doing? Everybody's all right? Thumbs up? So these calls are for you guys. Q&As. We don't have anybody scheduled today. It's just we got so much going on to try and contact people and get schedules happening. It's not happening. But
somebody canceled.
Some people don't want to share, and that's okay. Everybody does whatever they want.
We have a few more. We have a few more, I think, at the end of December and first week of January as well.
But as the story goes, everything's possible. We know that. It's all depends on your belief system and how far you're going to take it to keeping the trust and faith in the soul, because that's really what's doing all the work. The physicality is the easy part. Everybody can do that through fasting. The biggest challenge most of us all have is going back to food. And the other challenge is people thinking that it's an event instead of a lifestyle. That's the biggest challenge that I see mostly. See it repeatedly over and over. People are running to looking for their cures and believe they're going to cure themselves of whatever in so many weeks or months. And then they can settle back in their old ways. And that's the furthest thing from that we've ever been sharing with lifestyle since day one. Been, you got to commit to something that is different in the lifestyle that got you in trouble. And that's why almost 30 years ago, I had something that was a big motivator. A lot of pain. A lot of pain. And that's usually the case for people to make the change, is pain. Pain is a good motivator. And not for everybody. Some people keep doing the things to continue to experience the pain. And we see a lot of that, especially going through mainstream medicine. Taking pharmaceuticals and all that kind of stuff and surgeries and all that keeps you spiraling upwards and more pain. Doesn't solve any root and seed cause. But for the people who start gaining the understanding that it's a lifestyle and start working at it so they can make it work for themselves, because it'll be different for every single person. No two people will be able to make it work for them the same way. Some people will be able to go on maybe 6 days a week of food. Some people 5, some people 4, some people 3, some people 2, some people 1. But this is over several years of cleaning house and opening up that, what we like to call the plasma vacuum tube. Once that starts cleaning out and opening up, your food will never be the same again. You'll never have the same experience with food again. Your body will say, what are you doing when you're eating? And especially when you're going off track with food. And this is where we want to go. People are scared of that because they think there's something wrong with them. But in actuality, they're just remembering where we came from. It's from the light. These physical bodies we're here to experience, so on and so forth. And it's all fine and dandy. Let's enjoy it and let's work with it, because that's what we're here for. But all we're doing is remembering. We don't have to invent anything. Creation is already all complete. There's nothing missing from creation. we can just tap in and access all these different informations through our memory, because it's all programmed within us. We come from it. And that's all we're doing when we fast. We're accessing our memory. I like Sadhguru said, and I was listening to him, he mentions this several times, you get a cow or a dog and a human, they eat the apple, and they don't change into dogs, cats, or whatever. Everybody stays in that and creates that physicality that they already are. That's done through the memory. So, the apple turns into the human body when a human eats it. The apple turns into a dog if a dog eats it, and turns into a cow if a cow eats it. And we go much further than that, because it's not happening in the physical sense. It's happening on the plasmatic side through field interaction. And this is the new understanding, and why we're able to, why people are able to do things that we thought were not possible through this fasting lifestyle. And we see the magic unravel and unfold as the months and the weeks and the months, the weeks, and the years start going by, living this lifestyle. The only challenge is some of us are in such a depleted, obstructed state. Let's use the correct, not depleted, obstructed state, that through the genetics, through the lifestyle, through the environment, et cetera, that it's going to be a challenge for a few years before things start turning around. And for some people, and most people just don't have that patience, and they just can't comprehend the understanding. They think something's wrong through their programming of how we've grown up, that you're deficient in this, that, and that, and the other thing, and you're dying, and all this nonsense is when people start fasting. You're losing too much weight and all that crap. This is where the trust starts coming in. Once you've done many fasts over and over and over, you start gaining more and more trust, because you've done it. Next time you can go a little more. Next time you can go a little more. Next time you go a little more. You start gaining that trust in yourself, because there's nobody else who can do it for you. And the only thing we can gain from other people is their experience of what they go through. But the actual understanding, it really doesn't come until you do it yourself. That's what I found with most people. Pretty much everybody needs to go through the experience themselves, and that's when they start gaining the understanding and see the things going on. Sometimes people are going through, like, teeth is a big challenge in the detoxification world in general. A lot of people are having teeth problems, and they start seeing what they interpret as their teeth getting weaker and so on and so forth. But this is not what happens. When you start fasting, the body will dump all the improper and weak materials to make room to rebuild with new proper materials. Several people, have had like toenails fall off and regrow new toenails and stuff like that. So these things happen, but sometimes it doesn't happen at the pace we like to see it. And we let fear rule our lives, and we stop and we go back to our old ways and try and correct it through food, which never corrects anything, diets, foods, or whatever. These are only ways to help numb out our emotions and keep us in a stimulated state. They don't solve the problem of the root and seed cause, which is physicality, the GI tract, and the emotional side, on the plasmatic side through the soul. So these are the things that will take time, decades. It's going to take decades. Let's be real. It took us, most of us, decades to get to where we are. You're not going to, be able to clean house immediately. So it's going to take whatever it takes. But the metamorphosis that happens in people that have done 108 days is just incredible. Incredible. It's so drastic that for some people it's just too much, too soon of a change, and they can't comprehend and understand and able to sustain walking through the open doors that they've created through the fast. And that's the big challenge. So how do we find that balance with food again? Well, number one is never ever go back to 7 days a week eating. Never ever go back to 7 days of food. It's ludicrous to eat 7 days a week. Hello, Ariel. Glad you joined us. So that's the big key, is how many days of food per week do you believe you need? That's really all it comes down to, is our belief system. It took a while for me to really gain this understanding. After years and years and years of fasting, more people will, at this time and age, things are moving quicker, so people will start gaining the understanding a little quicker, but overall, the experience needs to be experienced, and over and over, several times. You know, some people have had miraculous things happen in 108 days, like just miraculous, like it's jaw-dropping, like whoa, wow. But it's not going to be like that for everybody, and these things will continue as you move along, going through your food cycles and your eating cycles, whatever you want to call it, and back on a fast, and eating cycles back on a fast. You just keep stripping those layers back and allow the metamorphosis to happen. Allow it. We can't push it, but we can allow it. You know, like we see some people, you know, like I fell into all these traps of going through the liver flushes and this, that, and the other thing, coffee enemas, trying to stimulate and force things to happen. And the body doesn't work like that. And this is why we have the wonderful world of herbs, our highly elevated friends. They just do magic when you're on a fast like no other. They can help us when we're eating, but there's just no comparison when you fast and use herbs. And we've seen the outcome with that. They're just truly magical. They're such highly elevated beings, and they know exactly what to do when you're fasting. But the rundown of to gain the understanding of the lifestyle is really the challenging part I've seen in these last just over 3 years we've been sharing this. Most people don't get it. They just don't get it. It's a lifestyle. And if you're not prepared and ready to change everything in your life from A to Z, it's exactly like Einstein says. You keep doing the same thing over and over. The interpretation of that is, you know, you become insane, because nothing's going to change. You got to change everything in your lifestyle, which means every part of the way you live. And that's going to make the changes.
Yeah, but you want to always, in my opinion, go at your own pace.
Of course.
Yeah, you don't want to rush it, because, I mean, most likely you're not ready emotionally to change.
It's all emotional.
So, and also, like, yeah, emotionally, a big part is the family and social aspects. I mean, many of us have done raw foods, and they have been isolated from their families, the way they eat and stuff like that. So they are used to it. Whereas new people in fasting, coming from a standard diet, might have a much harder time, because it's a big change. It's a huge change. It's a huge personal transformation, but also for the people around you. I mean, I had a difficult time. I already changed my diet when I started the Master Fast. I changed my diet maybe 3 years before the Master Fast. So I was already, you know, I already was isolated from the social, you know, gatherings. But at the same time, it was hard for my family, especially when I lost the weight. It was very hard for them. And it was very hard for me as well, because of the reaction. So it's not very easy to go through this emotionally. And yeah, it's not easy for people to change quickly. So take your time, go at your own pace.
The biggest challenge is other people that are influencing you through their emotion. And emotion intent is creation. So environment dictates outcome. So the people that you surround yourself and you're interacting with will have huge influence on us. And this is a challenge. Like I remember, being on my own for many years, I had no challenges, pretty much zero. But when I started having people living with me again, those influences are there, and they will affect you.
Yeah. So what's the solution? Because people have to,
Solution for some people,
have,
if they want to be, for some people, if they want to stay alive and they want to be healthy, they need to isolate themselves.
Well, you want to
that's the answer for some people. It will have to be for some people because the influence is just too much for them.
For the majority of people, there is a solution, and we must somehow get used to, maybe take your time as you change, because the majority of people are
be out in nature as much as you can.
It's too much of a change. Yeah, you can't, like, socially you're changing, like personally changing your diet, and your body is transforming. So it's a little bit too much of a change.
If you want changes, you got to change everything. You can't ask for those magic pills and expect change. You need to change everything. And this is the challenge people have, some people, most of us. So, like if you're with other family members living that way and stuff, you need to get out of nature as much as you can. Just be away as much as you can. So you basically just have to do minimal things when you're around them. And, when they're eating, just go out or whatever. Do what you have to do. If this is truly what you want, to find that balance in your health, you're going to have to do whatever it takes, no matter what, no matter how long it may take.
I found it's also good to find peace with them. It's very important to make peace with our families, because, like you can give up some friends, you keep the ones that are true to you, but with family, you want to keep your family around you. So I would say, like, find your peace, find your balance, find a way to love each other, because it's not easy for you to change your diet, and your, fasting and stuff like that as well. That's even more of a change. So I remember my first year with raw food was very difficult, because it was embarrassing for me when I went out with families, but also it was hard for them as well. They didn't know what to feed me. But the second year, I learned from other raw foodists that somehow find your peace with them. So I started, every time someone invited me, like my aunt would invite me with the rest of the family, I would tell them salad on me, and I would bring a big salad for everyone. And this way, my aunt doesn't have to worry about me. I don't have to worry about her food, eating her food. And it worked out. And then after a few times doing that, my aunt told me, "You're the easiest one to invite. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to cook for you. I don't have to do anything. So come over anytime." So find your peace. You really want to find your peace with the family, and because the last thing we want is to fight them.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable for them. I fasted through many weddings and get-togethers and so on, and so they get uncomfortable, people that you're not eating, because it's not normal for them. So, but I've been doing this a long time, and still, people, family members and stuff say, "What do you mean you're not eating again?"
Mm-hmm. Like this Christmas, most likely we're not going to be eating, right? But we'll get together with your mom.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So what's happening out there? Who's got any questions? Everybody's doing amazing. Go ahead, Monica. Is that your name, or is that somebody else's thing you're using?
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, this is my daughter's computer. Actually, it was my computer room. My name is Mike B. Mike Boo.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, and so I'm having a ball on it. I'm having a little challenge with the plasma pudding, but it's getting better. I'm just embracing it, trying to embrace it. And I started on day 21 of October. Yeah, October 21st. I think I'm at about 40, close to 40. I don't know.
Awesome.
Trying to stay away from counting.
This is not your first, correct?
I was on and off a couple of times. I've been following you guys from 2016.
Yeah, I remember you've been here for a while.
Yeah, and I would, like I said, I would go off and on. I would get off Facebook and come back on. And just something about this thing, it just gravitated to me. I mean, I thought it was really wild and crazy when I first started because I was like, no eating. And I'm familiar with fasting because I grew up fasting. You know, our church, you know, would tell us to go on fast, you know, a couple of days. But we always broke it, and they always told us to break it with juice or fruit. Right. It was only like 2 or 3 days, though. Mm-hmm. You know.
It was a dry fast?
Pardon me?
Was it a dry fast?
Yeah, it was dry. Yeah, and it was only for a few hours. They would say, I think, from sun up to sundown or whatever. And especially when we were like in meetings or whatever, I guess they wanted us to get a little more spiritual and closer. That's what they was doing it for.
That's the whole reason we're all doing it. It's physical stuff. Who cares?
Exactly. And like you said about change, you know, not just fasting with food, fasting with a lot of things, you know, giving up a lot of things, changing a lot of things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'm having a ball on it. I'm having little challenges with, you know, family people, but, you know, I just whip out the Master Fast and start reading something that somebody talking about being supportive and stuff. Especially my daughters. My daughters really, they don't like it because they see me losing so much weight. That's what it is. It's the physical. But I'm telling them I'm fine. I say, let's go to the movies. Let's go out, walk. Let's do things. Let's play games. I'm not sick in the bed in the hospital. I can see if I was in the hospital sick, you know, then you guys would be concerned, you know, but I'm not sick, you know. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying the journey.
People interpret the weight loss as sickness because they just don't have a clue. It's the ignorance of fasting. They just don't know. They just don't know what's supposed to happen and what goes on.
Yeah, they don't. My one daughter, she's a nurse. I mean, she's going to school to be a nurse. So she's like in her third year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she got all these concepts. But fortunately, my kids, they are healthy. You know, they're pretty healthy, you know, wise. They don't eat, the one daughter, she don't eat a lot of meat. She don't eat any meat. And my other daughter, she eats a little meat. My son eats a little meat. But, you know, other than that, they're pretty healthy. You know, they're pretty healthy, healthy eating and responsible and aware of that they shouldn't be eating certain things, you know. But it's still the standard American diet, you know. Like tonight, my daughter made cookies, you know, and they had, you know, stuff to eat. But that's okay because the thing about it is I remember you saying enjoy watching the meat. And I enjoy watching the meat, you know. I mean, I don't want it, but I enjoy watching the meat. And it's getting to the point almost where it don't even matter if I see them eat or no.
Yeah.
It don't matter. I know what I'm doing for, you know. And like I said, I started because I was just ready. And the thing about this and anything else in life, you got to be ready. So I was just ready, you know, ready to take over, you know, my health, mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally, you know. And they all, you know, intertwined together. So I'm grateful and thankful. Trust me, I am. And I appreciate you talking to me and having these Zooms and just being there for us, you too. It's a great experience.
Yeah, I'm doing it because I had so many years and there was nobody. I had to do it all on my own. There was just nothing, no internet back then and nowhere to go, nobody to get this information, the understanding. The only thing I had going on me was the Arnold Ehret's book. And, you know, let's see, is this thing for real? Let's keep it going. And then you get thrown off track by the science or this and that, and then you go back. So this is a lot of trial and error. And, you know, that's why when people start making their posts and going through their experiences, I pretty much went through every single feeling that people have posted. So it's easy after you've experienced it, of what they're going through, of what what to expect and how to guide them to help support them. But the biggest challenge with a lot of people is their mouth says one thing, but they do something else because they're just not ready. Like you said, it's not time for them. A lot of people say they want to heal, but most people really, really emotionally deep down, they're not ready to heal, to put in the work, the effort. And that's the challenge that we're seeing over and over in the world of imbalances. Try and convince somebody, it doesn't work. I stop doing that. When people are ready, as they say, the teacher shows up when you're ready. The students, when the student's ready, the teacher shows up, and that's what happens. And the only people that really we're here to support, because the other ones just come and go, and that's okay. That's where they're at. No big deal. But the ones who are ready, we're here to support and guide them through as best we can. And the understanding will come through their experiences, through all their experiences.
It's very interesting. I don't know, sometimes, what makes us ready and what doesn't make us ready. Just starting a fast, sometimes we're ready, sometimes we're not. It's just, I don't know. It's very interesting. You would get everything set up for you and ready for you, but somehow you can't do it, Your mind plays games, So it's, we don't know what makes people ready, but there are people who are more interested than other people, for sure.
Yeah, it's the emotional influences from through others and et cetera, through family, co-workers, friends, and so on and so forth. It affects you big time.
The culture, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the way you've been brought up, our programming of how we've been brought up. There's a lot of programming in there. So one step at a time. Everybody can go at their own pace. Not everybody's ready to do 108 days because it's such a powerful transformation, metamorphosis. It's
a big change in the lifestyle too.
Yeah, they're not ready. They're not ready for when the doors open at 108 days. They're really not ready, and it hits them like a ton of bricks, and that's the challenge. So for some people, it would probably be better to do, maybe 40 days, or maybe a week on, a week off, or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or a month on, month off, or whatever, or even a few days a week, just to get going, start cleaning that GI tract, get a feel for it. But there's a lot of situations where people have gone through the system, they've been butchered up, and they don't have much time. Pedal to the metal, go for it. If you're ready, go for it. Because going the slow route through foods, it is what it is. But putting your health sometime into the future does not work for everybody. A lot of people don't make it because they're always putting it off. This is where the fallacy of the transition diets. The transition is the master fast system. Is doing the fast. That's the transition. It's just so powerful. People don't know what hit them.
If you do 1 day a week or 2 days a week of massive fast, that's not very powerful, And focus on your diet the rest of the week. So go at your own pace. Any pace.
The 108 days is the transition. I've seen people in transition for 5-10 years. They're still in transition.
That's fine.
That's fine, but I'm just saying. You're not going to see any.
At least it's better than being on the standard diet, right?
I guess so. But you're not going to see any real magic happening. They're just complaining and looking for that magic pill. That's what I see happening in that transition, because they don't understand what it takes to actually have the metamorphosis happen. It takes a big shaking and change.
Yeah,
that's what the 108 days does. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? And then when you start eating, you'll know if you're ready or not. So
you're not gonna like it if you're not ready.
Well, you open up that plasma vacuum tube, you'll everybody that did 108 days or anything close, they gain understanding of what your senses are. When you start eating, food is never going to be the same after you've done a long MFS. When you start eating again, it will never be the same.
It might be too scary that you would not come back to fasting, right?
Well, if you're not ready, if you don't understand of all the experiences and what we're sharing, that's the key. Spend your time, learning, watching videos, reading, asking questions that you don't understand. Make it part of your life. Live it, love it. Live it, love it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're always searching and trying to gain the understanding of what this is, continuously, day in and day out. It becomes you. It becomes part of your life. If it's not, you're not going to sustain this lifestyle. There's just no way. Just something you dabble in every few weeks or every few months. You haven't grasped what we're sharing and what the power of tapping into the plasmatic field world, because that's what we're doing. The matter doesn't matter. We're using the matter to get access to the real stuff, the soul, the power of the soul through creation itself. And that's what we're showing, and when we're sharing, I haven't seen anything else out there in this kind of thing through a detoxification. It's all focused on the matter, the minerals, the vitamins, the deficiencies, all the things that we say are an illusion. So it's very difficult for somebody listening to what I'm saying. Who is this guy? He's got no papers, no nothing. This bum off the street to trying to tell us that none of this stuff exists, that all these scientists have been, teaching us for all these years. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Only if you believe it exists. And, it's going to run your life believing in that stuff, as we see out there. It runs people's lives. I'm deficient in this, that, and the other vitamin. My blood work shows all these deficiencies. I need so many calories. I need so much protein. Okay, continue on your path, and we'll continue on the art of subtraction, and continuously watch the magic unfold with so many people. And the people that stick with it, the magic keeps unfolding. I don't pay attention to the people who are not ready and are kind of like pointing fingers and blaming of the situation they're in after they've gone back to their old ways. We don't need to pay attention to that. Pay attention to the doers and the people that are having the results, because that's all that matters. It's all that matters. 4-minute mile. I keep repeating that. One man believed it was possible and he did it. And then several others did it within a week or so. So this is where we're going. We're creating a new path and a new understanding. We are the change. It's already all written. We haven't done anything new. It's already all written. Creation is already, it's all there. And we all have access to it. Well, as I say, I don't have any answers for anybody. You gain the answers through the experience. The answers start coming up in your life in plain sight. A lot of you have experienced these things. Whoa, wow, okay, now I understand. And you made posts and so on and so forth. It's because your answers are within you. They're not within anybody else. When you start going outward, you're spiraling outwards away from soul. You're searching different parts of the planet for your answers. You're only going to spiral out into confusion. When you spiral inwards is where you find the balance, and you gain all the understanding and the answers that you're looking for. The proper questions will start coming up, and the answer will be right there. Bang! Why didn't I see that before? Wow. Okay, now I have that understanding. Certain healing reactions, where people call them healing crisis. Body knows exactly what it's doing. There's no crisis, folks. There's no crisis. A crisis is when you go into ER and they're stabilizing you with all these synthetic drugs. Those are crises, and it's amazing people make it through these times. It's amazing because it's just putting things into the body. What the hell's going on? And it's just trying to survive these assaults. They're all assaults. Everything they're doing with synthetic isolates and so on are assaults on the body. And it's amazing the body can survive through these times. So when you're having healing reactions, no matter how severe they may seem, how dreadful you feel, the body knows exactly what it's doing. It's just, are you at the level of belief system to have the trust and the faith to allow it to happen and pull through it with all the tools we have? And it's amazing how many tools we have now to help us in these times. And if it's not, you back off a bit. Go into some pineapple juice, which is much less powerful in cleaning. And if that's still too much, go into the green juices. There's so many tools. Start go up in some of the herb doses, or go down a little extra plasma pudding if you have extra runs, or a little less, whatever. There's so many ways we can do it. Acupressure points, breathing techniques, walking out in nature, extra enemas, colonics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The importance of clearing the bowels is, can't stress it enough. Can't stress it enough how important enemas are in this powerful detox. I don't care what others are doing out there. We're not paying attention to what others are doing, but I see people going to all different pages and getting confused because they don't have the understanding of what we're doing and how powerful this cleanse is, this lifestyle. It's very potent, very, very potent. And it stirs up to the level of your memory. There's no plateaus that we've seen on this lifestyle. It just keeps stripping away until you come to the point where the body says, wow, thank you, I can start building now. How long is that going to take? I don't know. I don't have the answer. For Marian, it was over 2 years. Then he started putting on weight on full MFS. So it's pretty interesting to see.
When he stopped his last medication.
Yeah, that was a tough one for him to leave the last one. I said, you gotta live it up. No, I can't. Yeah. One day you're gonna give it up. Just very slowly wean yourself off. They're just addictions, these meds, and that's the only thing will hold you back. The psychiatric drugs, those are a real challenge to get through to the spirit when people are on those, because they kind of they don't detach. We're never detached from soul, but they kind of put like a veil that we can't communicate properly when you're taking these psychiatric drugs. They change the chemistry and the physicality of the brain, and you can tell when somebody's on psychiatric drugs by what they're saying. You're not speaking to the person. It's easy for entities to move in when people are on these things. Even regular pharmaceuticals, but the psychiatrics are one of the most fearful ones for me, that when people are on those, they're nasty. They're real nasty. I would do everything in my power to wean myself off slowly off that stuff if I was on any of those things. But the people can do whatever they like, and they do.
Yep, everybody's free.
Yep. Anything else, guys? We're blabbing too much.
I can talk.
Ranji.
Yeah, I love talking. I mean, love you both, love everyone here, love the whole group. I just want to sort of say, look.
What number?
Number 93 days.
Wow.
I can't. Well, my mind says it can't believe it, but my soul and awareness says anything's possible.
Exactly.
And everything you and Rana and everyone that's done this prior to this, it is so true. You will not get the understanding until you are in it. It doesn't matter how many questions you ask. It doesn't matter what you know, what knowledge, how many times you read the protocols and what you do. Doesn't matter. The only thing about MFS is so different to other groups is it's the soul that's connected in the dimension, and you don't feel it until you're in it. So you take everyone with it. And when I'm fasting, whatever I'm doing, and I'm fasting and I'm having my juice, and someone might say to you, oh, that's all you ever do is drink grape juice. It doesn't affect me, because in the other dimension, I've got all you guys there, that love on me, and I love you back, that you can't shake it. You just can't shake it.
Like just your excitement and enthusiasm, I get high off that, because it's the memory that we already went through it, right?
I've got goosebumps. I cry for joy. The first 30 days was always difficult for me, and I think for most people it would be, because you've got to get past that monkey mind. If you cannot get past that monkey mind, I feel it's a real challenge.
Yeah.
And I had set that intention initially because I knew that the mind is the only thing that I had struggled with, because I allowed it to control me, my emotions, my fears, all that absolute crap that we go on about, which is all just bullshit, because you're actually caught up in a story of your own mind. It entraps you. The ego entraps you so much. It wants to keep you there. It doesn't want you to do 108 days. It doesn't want you to be free. There's just no way it wants you to do that. It wants to keep you here in this 3D reality. And then that's the only thing I knew I had to do. And I had to get into the presence. You had to get into that awareness. You had to observe them line. And it took 30 days. But once and you know how simple it is, like, to do that? Like, it's like, okay, I'm just in it now. Like, there's nothing. I control my mind now, and I'm so aware of it. And I wouldn't be able to do this if I wasn't doing some form of fast like this, because I don't care what anyone says to me. The fastest way to presence, love, freedom is through the body first. You've got to clear that stuff out of that, what you say, the GI tract. You've got to clean your cells. You've got to clean up your life. You've got to detach. You've got to let go. You've got to make changes. Get out of your environment however you can and get free, and just do it. I'm just speaking from passion, because I just love people so much and what MFS has given me. So I've got to give it back. And the first 30 days were hard. And I think that's where, when I read the posts, I see that as a pattern for most, can't get past 21 days. I can't get past 14 days. I can't. Do you know, if you make that first breakthrough, 14 days, 21 days, and 30 days, that middle part, oh my God, it is bliss. It's like, it's like, wow, it was so worth the suffering. It's so worth putting me first, or putting yourself first, and getting rid of all those relationships that you don't need, all the stuff out of your house, everything, just get rid of the shit out. And as you get rid of the shit out, the shit comes out of you, everywhere on your skin, your pores, all that. And then what happens in that middle bit is like, when you talked about it, you and Rana talk about it so much, and you don't know until you experience it. That is the best part of the whole 108 days for me. This end bit is I have no fear about the break. I have no fear about having a watermelon. I'm looking forward to the taste and hydrating my mouth and having those sensations for the first time. Like I'm a kid, I'm going to try a watermelon again. But I know now that I'll never, ever, ever go back to what it was. I really have that deep. Why would you do 108 days and go back to what you were doing before? There's no use doing it, because otherwise you're just going to fill the crap up again, and you're going to bring stuff back into your life, because all that food is just emotional feeding and getting the monkey mind back in, in play, and and all that sort of stuff. You're so right, Gino and Rana. Like, you've been right all the way wrong. All, from what I've known you, and about being ready, I think you do have to be ready to take it on, and you got to be strong, and you just got to say, this is my life. What's 108 days out of 100 years in your life? But we could live longer, but what is that? 108 days is 3.5 months, absolutely nothing, in order to have a glimpse into the other realms.
Yeah.
And you will not get there. Can I be bold and say this? You will not get there on meditation alone. You will not get there on praying alone. You will not get there being part of all these 50,000 groups out there that think they know everything. You know, you will not get there. The only way you will get there is going inward, inside of you, because the answers are there. And the fastest way to get there is to clean the shit out of your body. Because once you clean that shit out of that body, all those lies and foods that you've eaten since you weren't even born, you're in the womb, that all just gets, I mean, it's a lot of work to cleanse it all out, but you start cleaning and you start seeing these glimpses of this world that we were supposed to know. We were meant to know this when we were born. And the one realization I had, I wanted to get out of my body. But in actual fact, I absolutely love my body now. I love being in it. I love grounding. I love, you know, just enjoying and touching and feeling and what we're supposed to be on this planet for, you know, having that human experience, you know, like in the body and the skin. Why not enjoy it for the next 100 years while we're all together, you know? Like, you know, it's just so beautiful. That's all I want to say to all the newbies out there. Just for a period of time, tell the mind to have a break. Just say, mind, you know, don't worry about what I've been taught before. Don't worry about the science. Don't worry about the doctors say. Don't worry about what my mum and dad says. Can you just give me a break for 30 days? Just 30 days. It's nothing. Just give me a break and let me tune into my all-knowingness, because in actual fact, you already know it. That's why they're all here, aren't they? We're all here because we already know it.
To remember.
But we just want someone to guide us, you know, so we're not alone. We're together as one, like what you've done. You set up a system which works, you know, 27 years or 30 years or whatever you've been doing. You've experimented on yourself. You've risked your life. You know, I mean, a lot of other people have risked their health as well. But, you know, you've done it. You've created something that's come from creation that actually works, because it does work, because other people have done it. I've done it. You know, other people are doing it. Some people live in it. So I just say to all the newbies or the ones that's been on the page and they haven't done it, just give yourself 30 days off. 30 days off. Just give that mind a break. And don't worry about, you know, like got someone's birthday next week, or it's Christmas, or, you know, New Year's. I'll start after New Year's. No, just start now. Because it doesn't matter when you start. There's always going to be an event on. There's always going to be something your mind's going to trick you. Like, you know, it's just say no. Like my cousin was here the other day. We've got some relatives coming over from the UK. And she goes, I said, I don't drink. I said, I'm completely abstinent of alcohol. I'll have some of your herbal wine though, do you know? But I said, I don't drink. And she goes, why don't you not drink until my cousin goes back to the UK, you know, and which is in March. And I said, no. I said, I don't drink. I said, you just say no. I said, I don't drink, but you can buy me some grape juice, you know, which is fine. And yeah, it's just, and you train other people to, you know, your lifestyle. It is what it is. And, you know, you guys deserve it. Everyone deserves it here. Forget about those lies. Anything that comes into your head that gives you some form of confusion, that's the monkey mind telling you a lie. Always.
Exactly.
So when it comes in, I just go lie, 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 lie. And then when you eliminate every story it tells you, then you know, you have no confusion, and you've got space in between everything, you know, like you feel that space. Then you go truth, truth, truth. And then till you get to a place where, I'm at this place where it's full acceptance. So what anyone ever talks about, that's their story or whatever, but that's their truth. But I don't actually, I'm in this thing where, you know, people talk about likes and dislikes, and which is a duality. There should be no likes or dislikes, right? Mm-hmm. There should just be, this is it. This is it. Because when you have likes and dislikes, there is no freedom. You know, people say, oh, I like this, blah, blah. But then you eliminate the truth of what else is out there. And if you dislike something, You go, oh, I don't like doing this, or I don't like this. Well, then you eliminate all the other stuff that is possible for you. So I think, I don't know if you can get a way around past duality and then realise that this, I can't explain it, Gino. I don't know how to explain that space. I don't know how to explain.
The grass is always greenest within.
Within, okay, thank you. I just don't know how to, I try and help people to understand that part. I just can't. Like when you're in that fourth, fifth, or whatever dimension it is in that world, in the, I call it the airy fairy land, you can't explain. How do you explain joy? Like, how do you explain the emotions that make you feel so alive?
Beat it.
Yeah. I just don't know how to explain it. And the only way you can explain it now, which I do now, what you do, Gino, is I go do 108 days because it's just like you can't say anything.
Like the truth is so clear. Let me just give you this example. If you listen to all the people that they did interviews close to their 108 days, and some of them are gone. And if you read some of their posts weeks after they went back into eating and they're miserable and everything, look at when people are talking when they're on the fast, and look at the people when they're talking when they're on food. It's like night and day. So if you believe diet is your answer, keep eating. I can't help you. It's the art of subtraction is where the answer is. And food is only there for us to have some joy occasionally, but we limit it and we keep it as clean as we can. That's all the lifestyle is. If you fall in the trap of going back to eating every day a week, you're not going to be happy. After you open up that plasma vacuum tube, I can assure you, you're not going to be happy.
Even 1 day a week?
Even 1 day a week may be too much for some. But, this really sets us up to stay on liquid area. So far, Marin is the only one who's done that. Anybody could do it. It's just the decision to do. I haven't even done it. I can make all the excuses of why it hasn't happened. These are just excuses, but it is possible. I know it's possible because we've tasted it in the 3.5 months. The 3.5 months is no short time. 308 days, 3.5 months. That is your lifestyle. If you want to maintain that, you can stay on that. It's just, are you ready to do that? Most people are not. Most people are going to go back to food, and that's okay. But we eat way too much food, and we eat the wrong types of food, and this is why we get in trouble. Because when we're eating these foods, it's usually 99.9% of the time for an emotional reason, not because you're hungry.
Oh, 100%.
Because hunger is another false thing, and we can get into that. But it's beautiful to have people talk when they're in the middle of their fast, or near their end, and you can feel what's going on.
Yeah, and I think, Gino, like, how do I, I'm in my fast. How do I go for a 3.5 hour walk? Right, so I haven't got any food. I've just had grape juice and what we do. So how do I go for a 3-hour walk? Where does that come from?
Exactly.
And that's where you question everything that you've known before is not true. And, how can, this is so much, there's so much. And, the truth comes out by being in the experience. It's the only way. But I personally, I don't know if other people felt this, Gino. I personally don't think I'll ever go back to what I was like. I do believe maybe I might, probably try a little bit of food like watermelon and fruit and stuff. But my goal is actually to be liquid, to live on liquids mostly, and to still dry fast weekly and do MMS weekly, and then maybe 2 or 3 days where you have liquids and stuff like that. But it's just forget it.
It's going to be another experience that you will also learn from, just like the Master Fast. So it's a continuous learning.
Yeah, the illusion of food makes us happy is very clear after you've done a master fast.
Mm.
Like, there's people some of the people that have gone off and back to their eating ways and whatever. And some of them come back because they can't erase the experience of what they went through on MFS. We've had that. Quite a few people came back after a year or two. I got to get back on because the eating is not going to make it happen.
Doesn't give them the same feeling.
No, it never will. I don't care what you eat. I
Yeah.
don't care.
They've tricked us to eat food with salt, what our taste buds like, right? That's a trick to me, right? The artistry of food, which is a form of creation. So when they make cakes and all this stuff, right? Pasta and everything. I still have dreams a little bit about pasta, But anyway, when they have that, that's all. That's just creation, like from the other dimension. To me, it could be different to other people, but to me, it's just creation. So you're just creating stuff. Doesn't mean that you had to put it in your body.
Yeah, it's
right?
an art.
It's an art. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I was watching some food cooking shows the other day because when I look at food, it's really funny. When I look at food and things, I actually see the atoms or the carbon. I don't see it. I don't see the memory's changed. Like, or maybe I'm remembering what it was supposed to be. But before, when I was an eater, I used to just want to taste it and gobble it down. So when I see something now, physically in this 3D dimension, it's I feel its like I sense its texture, its colours, its smells, and then I go, well, that's pretty interesting. That's really lovely, and it's beautiful. But I don't see it as food, as what food is taught us to be. I see it differently. I just sort of, like, even now, my mum was doing some service for church and we were making samosas, right? I don't want to eat it. Like, I just like, there's no want to put it in my mouth whatsoever. But when I look at it, your time slows down. So when I was helping her putting the filling into the pastry with making the samosa, it was like the texture, the feel, the smell, stuff on your hands. It's a whole different world where you see food differently. And then she was frying them this morning because she had to take them to church. And so the whole frying process of the oil was like, oh, it's just it has like its own soul. I don't know. Its own. I'd explain it. Yeah. It's like it has its own living thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just going, yeah, we're all here together. It doesn't really matter. You're a piece of food in what, that word food is, but we're just all here together. It's not nothing, anything. I don't want to put it in my body. I don't want to be that. I don't want that food to be me. I want me to be light, energy, other sources and stuff like that. But it's really interesting when you look at food. It's just like, I don't know, it's a completely different relationship. And you won't get it until you give it up. And then you realise the relationship with food, everything slows down, you start understanding, then you start having the experience. And I'm sorry if I'm taking too much time here, but I'm hoping I'm giving something back. But it just sort of, it's different. It's a relationship that I've never, ever, ever, ever had before, ever in my life, from the day I was born, that I have that relationship now. It's different.
Yeah, exactly right. What you're seeing is what the food is made up of, just fields, they're just lower field strengths, so they're dense matter. But everything's fields. Everything has a soul, and that's what you're interacting with those fields. And we don't have to interact with them by eating them. We can interact with them on the emotional level as you're experiencing, and that's the beauty. So this is how. When you allow it to unfold and accept what you're feeling, then you gain a new understanding, the experience. Judith.
Can I add one thing quickly? I have experienced socializing. Judith will come to you. I have experienced socializing with Master Fast and another time while eating, and it was always more fun while fasting. My emotions are way more under control. and my mood is much better, and I'm much happier. So it's really, yeah. So especially after they finish dinner, everybody's tired and you're full of energy. Like you don't want to be there. So, and I was always thankful for how I always felt on the master fast versus eating. Well, with eating, it was much harder to socialize.
Yeah, it's true. I love you all so much. I'll go because I can talk forever. I'm just so excited. I just want everybody to do this that's here, that's come here. I love you all. You've helped me so much, and just hope I help you, everyone here. And thank you for allowing me to talk.
Yeah,
of course.
We love listening. Thank you.
You're inspiring people. Of course, we want to hear you.
You're inspiring us.
Yeah.
Reminding us of the 108 days.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I'm forever grateful. You know that.
Awesome.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for sharing. Go ahead, Judith.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How are you?
Excellent.
I have just two quick questions. So first one, I just want to relate to something that you said. I was one of them who after the master fast went to eat again, and then it's just the worst feeling you can never have. Like just going back to feeling, for me, I was just feeling depressed. Like Rana, my emotion was all over the place. I was thinking, the decision I would never made if I was on a master fast and everything. So that was, I think, the most motivation for me to go back to do another 108 days, because I was just like a mess. I was like, I just have to go back where I felt the best. And it was the master fast. Like even I was fruitarian before, master fast was like 10 times better than just eating fruit. So, but my question is, so I'm only on day 29 or 30, but in my first 108 days, my first 40 days was like a hell. This time is the same. I'm really struggling with my emotions, and my energy as well is very down. I'm struggling to even do the trampoline in the morning. So now I just switch my workout in the evening. But so I can't remember what. Yeah. So and I got obsessed about food as well. Like I've been cooking for people who don't even ask me. just like, I don't know if it's the feeling that, but I have to say that when I cook, I feel good. I just feel like release.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very strange. I don't know if it's, if it's the flavor. Yeah.
The satisfaction
probably
is more in everything around the food other than eating. Like buying it, preparing it. I mean, you might get tired and say, thank God I'm not eating, because...
Yeah, I did only this week, but I did only 3 times. And after I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm so happy because I'm saving money. I'm on a master fast, but I'm going to buy food and cook for other people, which is crazy. But so you think it's just like something is related to my mind or my emotions? So it's just...
It's all emotional. Like years ago when I started doing the longer fast, especially, I used to watch the Cooking Network, the Food Network.
Oh, yeah.
I used to watch it for hours. I would be so satisfied just watching it.
Yeah. The only thing about that is you're satisfied during the fast, but you come off the fast and all these memories come back, of watching. God knows what they're cooking.
Yeah,
right?
This is why we live through the art of subtraction. And don't ever go back to 7 days a week eating, because that's going to be a big trap for you.
Yeah.
If you go back to 7 days a week eating, it's just too much food, way too much food. Like honestly, most people should be on maximum 4 days a week eating. Once they've cleaned up good, and do at least 1 day a week dry when they're eating, and 1 day before and 1 day after of liquids. And if I think maybe most people could even start on that. And so they can train themselves to fast and break the fast over and over and over and over, and learn to love the feeling of living on other energies versus heavy three-dimensional foods, because it's a totally different feeling, totally different. I can ask you, Judith, is food the answer?
Oh, no. No. Like you just go back to the state when you feel numb, and when you're not even, for me, I was not productive anymore. I was depressed, and I was like, picking on everybody around me instead of looking into myself. And then my body felt like a rubbish bin. That's really like the way I felt. Like I could see everything's coming out, like for my pores, for my skin, my nails as well. Got thinner, and they're starting to break again. My hair as well. So it's definitely not the answer for sure.
Once you open up that plasma vacuum tube, everything changes. We've the level of the power of this cleanse when we're doing the long fast is like nothing else, and that's why it shocks people. Like we were talking about it earlier, it's just too shocking, the transformation and metamorphosis that happens in the short 3.5 months, and most people are not ready for it. So it'd probably be better for most people to start slower. The ones who understand, who have a little understanding that it's a lifestyle, and when you open the doors 108 days, you're going to live this lifestyle, and you're ready. And no matter what, you're going to maintain that. You're going to fall off once in a while, no big deal, but you're in the lifestyle, and you're maintaining the lifestyle, no matter what happens out there. This is the key. There's a lot of things being said that are misunderstood. I see it a lot. And it's because there's no experience. There's no decades of experience of fasting, and people are fearful. The fear rules us. I'm no different than anyone of you. The fear, you get into these fearful thoughts when you're doing some things through fasting. It's all bull crap. The body knows exactly what it's doing when it's fasting. That's your mantra when you're fasting. My body knows exactly what it's doing. It's all, anything that starts happening, my body knows exactly what it's doing. And embrace it, use the tools, allow yourself to pull through that, and you always come out stronger. Always. The people that hurt themselves are the ones to go back to food and the foods that we say to stay away from after breaking the fast, and they get themselves in trouble. Every time. Like that woman who ate handfuls of nuts. Okay, well, I don't know where she got that from. Ain't part of our protocol, ain't part of going back to eating. We suggest never to eat nuts. But anyway, people will do what they do because they interpret things in their own ways. I don't know how, but they do. And this is the challenge to support people on the most powerful detoxification lifestyle there is out there. The only thing that's more powerful is staying on a dry fast for the rest of your life. And we're all not ready for that, I can assure you. That's going to take decades of practice for most people to be on what they call a dry fast. But we've changed the definition of fasting. Some people say it's depletion. No, it's accessing all the other forms of energy. Instead of eating three-dimensional foods, you're interacting with other forms of energy. That's the true meaning of what fasting is. A lot of spiritual gurus from the past have taught it, lived it. There's a lot of saints and other people from the past that have lived with no food and no water. It's not something new, but the understanding of how it works, we have a little more now. We understand that only the body can feed, hydrate, balance, and heal itself through soul from source. That's the new understanding. And to grasp that is a different story.
It's amazing how, the information about being able to live with no food, no liquid was not out for a long, now it's much more with the internet, but
yeah,
it's amazing. And maybe some people in power were trying to hide the information, but I feel the biggest reason is because we're addicted to the food, that we cannot even accept the idea.
It's the addiction
of letting go of, probably, at the end of the day, we are responsible for their, for the information. It's not the people in power, we are responsible. We can take drugs or we can not take drugs, it's our choice.
Food is like a drug. There's no difference. We're all addicted, and it's our programming that keeps us addicted, believing
Yeah, so we're
that,
responsible.
and just to justify that we need to keep eating three-dimensional foods. There's a justification there through the programming. It's very deeply ingrained. Generations. It's not only through our own. It's through our heritage, our lineage, and that's not something that's very easily to change for most of us. So
Programming and addiction.
yeah, the understanding will come through the experiences, slowly but surely, one fast or after another fast, and breaking the fast and gaining that understanding of what goes on. What's the difference with three-dimensional foods? What's the difference with higher order foods, which are fields? So which one do you want to be in the most? In which area do you want to stay? Some people choose the three-dimensional foods. They like the misery, pain, and suffering. Even though their mouth says something else that they want to heal, they love the attention that the misery and the pain and suffering brings them at the subconscious level. They love that. Even though they're suffering physically, emotionally, and mentally. We see it all the time. Also, the other thing, we see that people are involved in healthcare practitioners. We see a lot of imbalances there because they're interacting, as myself, with many emotions, and it's not easy. It threw me into a wild, confused spiral when Masterfast started growing, of all the emotions that I was interacting with. I wasn't prepared for it. It was over 6 month period that I thought I was losing it, and I finally got it in control and understood, to allow these energies to just flow, not take them in, because if you take them in, you're going to get in trouble. And I see it a lot in healthcare practitioners. There's not a lot of healthy healthcare practitioners out there. It's not an easy place for them to be, by no means, to be in that position. Some people are coming to Masterfast to look for work or something. Unless you've got decades behind you, you have no right to be guiding people, in my opinion. I don't even barely have that right. I only have a few decades. This is something new, and we're only gaining that much of an understanding of what's happening. That much. We just scratched the surface with MFS. We're going to see more and more of an understanding coming through the years in front of us. And we've learned so much in the last 3 years. It's just amazing. So many people miss the miracles that are happening with people. I can see what's going on. It's because I've done it. I've been through this. And we're just at it again. We have Simon. Go ahead, Simon.
Judith, were you done?
Just one more question.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. When I do my 24 hours dry fast, the weekly one, I can't sleep. I seriously barely can't sleep. Like, you probably can see me on my eyes. I didn't sleep at all. I'm still awake. So, and then
there's the thing that it's nervous energy, and there's the other thing that you have more energy because you're not even processing liquids. So you're saving more energy, and you don't need as much sleep. There's both scenarios. One is that it's stirring up some of the obstructions to be released, so you're going through that, and it's keeping you up. And the other one is you literally have more energy because you're not processing any liquids.
Probably it's the first one because, you're still detoxing. It's the first month, right?
Both. Yeah.
Yeah. But in my first 108 days, I was sleeping, but like very light sleep. But the last 2 weeks, so I'm gonna break my 24-hour dry fast in an hour and a half, and I'm still awake. I didn't sleep like 1 hour. I just couldn't. I went and I go in my bed early because I tried to get going early and wake up early and just start my day. But I had to wake up and then just go out and do something because I just couldn't sleep at all.
Just go into meditative state, do breath work, start using some acupressure point, relax, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. The other thing is that a lot of people that go into the breatharian type of lifestyle, they sleep very little. and they have to find what they need to do with all that extra time.
Yeah, that's my problem, because it gets me frustrated when I'm in bed and I try to sleep. I just can't.
So
And then I wake up and I try to do something else, and I will go back to bed an hour after. I still can't. And then it's just, yeah.
so we go back to food and we shorten our time during the day, right? Because we have to sleep more. And then you can blame me after you go back to food.
No, the pain is too much. I went there. I'm not ready to pay to go back to that pain. I mean, because we think food, when we go back to food, we think food is gonna bring you joy, it's gonna bring you happiness or that satisfaction. But once it's going down, it's so painful. And the next day, it's just too much pain to pay for that. Like,
Yeah.
at least for now, for me. So yeah.
Yeah, we know. All right, Simon, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. We'll turn the video on. I've been taking a bunch of notes. I've been researching. I've been following you guys for the past going on 2 years now. Just reading as much as I can, looking into as much as I can. Had some challenges acquiring, some of the tools and stuff. And it was interesting because, like you said, the grass is always greener within. I would always rely on exterior forces to try to bring things to, into my life. And I was relying so heavily on it. For instance, I haven't started yet. I'm still gearing up for my first round.
Oh, okay.
And I talked with he's on the call, Johnny. Johnny, I connected with Johnny, and he helped me. I went on the website. I finally ordered everything, my herbs and my tinctures. TNT came today. I actually got off the phone yesterday, put in my order for my Kalima board. I'm like, wow, this is really happening. But I remember when I posted on the page, after I put in my order for my herbs, because it's like, something I read on, it's something that you said, Gino. I can't remember where you said, if it was in an article or on the page or whatever. Oh, no, it was right on the MFS website. Those who are committed are already healed.
Right.
And so, that switched something into my brain about, the fact that this is a direction, I really want my life to go. And I was even thinking about it today because, and you can identify with this, Gino, growing up, you had to clean everything off of your plate, my
and
mom.
everybody else's.
Right. Yeah. It's like, hey, here's some leftovers. We know you're going to eat it here, and it's just, after a while, I just, that was just life, just putting things in there. Oh, I'm a growing boy, oh, it's okay. Just throwing all this standard American food, into my body. And, I was on this, I think it was, I was listening to one of the Zoom interviews the other day where, and this was really disappointing. And I think you said it, Rana. The worse you eat, the harder it's going to be the more you're going to be addicted. So that's what I have to look forward to, but even, regardless, I'm really looking forward to, starting my first round. And I'm sure you've seen people in this state before, so excited beforehand, and then they get into it and just, they don't know what to expect. Sister Ranjit, when she was talking, about how people that, you don't know until you get into it. So I do recognize that. But, oh, no, that's what I was meaning to say about the grass is always greener within. I always, and relying on exterior sources, relying on exterior, like my job to bring me the money so I can buy the tools for, for the Master Fast. All of a sudden, right before I ordered my tinctures, my income took a steep decline. Mm-hmm. And I was so frustrated because it's like, I was so close, but then, I went within because I used to meditate like 2 hours a day
Awesome.
before I developed tinnitus, and I'm hoping to cure that on MFS. Even if it doesn't come the first round, it's something I'm still, hoping for.
It's God if it don't go away. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. But I was the anxiety about not being able to, of relying on exterior forces to bring me what I need. I decided to go within, and then I realized I've made I've made a lot of relationships in my life where I was relying on on my own personal sense of integrity, something that I'd built up personally that was something that's intangible, something that's within. And I went to a friend and I told him I had a financial need, and without hesitation he was like, here you go. And that was how I was able to finally get over what I thought was a financial hump, to go ahead and acquire the tools for MFS.
It's a bit of a upfront for people, but this lifestyle, once you're in it, it's cheaper than eating, and then your dry days are free. And then when you go back, when you're open the doors at 108 days or whatever, how long you do, whatever, you have the mentality that 7 days a week of food is a thing of the past. So you're going to save money in this lifestyle. Like for myself, 4 days a week is maximum that I eat. 3 days a week. How many weeks are in a year? How many days is that a year that I don't eat? How much money am I saving? See, this is where people are so blinded. Sickness is way more expensive. So you want to be healthy. It's just a whole different thing.
It will get you also into minimalism. So you will, you're not going to go out so much, anymore. You're not, so you're not spending this way. You'll find that you don't want to shop for clothes so much anymore. And, it will get you into minimalism, just the essentials. And because it's all about simplicity, even if it costs you the same as eating clean, which is, I would say, fruits and vegetables, which is quite expensive, Let's say it costs you the same thing. You're still saving in different areas because you're going into a simpler lifestyle. And it's just, it's so much, it is very enjoyable. Yeah, it is very.
All right. Well, I'm definitely looking forward into it. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys.
Don't expect anything. Just allow everything to happen. Embrace whatever comes. People say, "Oh, you're going to go through healing reactions." No, but we don't know. Everybody's different. Most people have a pretty good time through it, and with a few healing reactions. Very few have some severe healing reactions, but these are people that have been in an imbalanced state for a very long time, and usually those are the ones that have gone through the system and been butchered up pretty bad. So don't expect anything. Just allow it to happen, and everything's fine. Just trust and use the tools. Back off a little bit if you feel you have to, and it's all there. All the information's available. Many people have gone through it. So focus on the results. Focus on the people who got the results. Everybody else that's lamenting, it's okay for people to do that because they're allowing the emotions to flow, but don't pay any attention to it. It's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. Pay attention to the ones with the results. That's all you need to focus on.
Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Where are we at? Wow, an hour and a half already. Inga?
I will share a little bit mine healing process, as I call now, what I'm going through. It's interesting and really, really deep. Where it's interesting thoughts go coming in my head, and I would say I also already got an answer to it, where I don't want to live. I came to that line where any challenges comes and just why I'm here, why do I need to, and answer like today I talked to my partner, which like we had different mindsets, but I just thought it's very important to talk to him about this. And realization came like, Thorsten, he doesn't understand me. But then later I done Animus, and it's real on a really deep level now. It's somewhere inside of me. I don't want to take fully responsibility what's exactly happening.
Most of us, that's why everybody's sick.
I'm not sick.
once you accept it, and yeah, sickness is a thing of the past. It's an illusion.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just
Awesome. Keep smiling.
it's really, really deep. It's definitely is not nothing to do with this lifetime. It's way deeper.
You have a partner, a beautiful daughter, take care of. There's lots to live for. And like you said, people that commit suicide, how can you escape yourself? You can't.
It's
You can get rid of your body, but you can't escape yourself.
It really feels, not taking responsibility to jump, as you say, across the fence. It's sort of, at that point, you think it's the easiest way to do. But when you have the knowledge, it's very different.
Yeah. One step at a time, baby steps.
Oh, yeah.
Everything unfolds. And as we keep hearing, the answers are not in the food. Yes, we can eat and we can enjoy it, but the answers are not in the food, like so many people are preaching out there. I've been down those paths more than most people. Yeah, you're going to get some results eating clean, but if you don't fast, if you don't keep fasting as your lifestyle, it ain't going to be much. You're going to plateau. And we see so many people I've seen in the raw food world that fell off and went back to meat or whatever. Why? Because you're not going to find your answers in food. They couldn't find that balance with their food. And they go back to animal products, which numb them out and they feel better, they say. That's all the animal products will do. The heavy three-dimensional foods, the heavier ones. Anything away from fruit and greens is heavier and heavier and heavier. So just put you in that numb state and they think they feel better. It's an illusion. They're lying to themselves. They just don't understand of what's going on. And I haven't seen many really grasp the concept of we don't get our energy from food. And that's very difficult for most people to grasp. And that's okay, because we've had a lot of programming to believe that we need to eat. And we need our fats, amino acids, minerals, vitamins, carbohydrates, proteins, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of science behind it, a lot of books, a lot of white jackets. And fear steps in when we move away from that. And the fear takes over and controls us. And that's what's happening. Oh, fear.
Why do you feel that why do you not want to be responsible for yourself?
Rather, it's deep. As I say, like that answer only came today after I done Enema. It's feeling like, it's no desire to live. It's, some probably sense like you come to a certain plateau state where you feel so heavy or so unhappy, and it's something is very same with me, just different way, with that sensation to take my own life. As I say, like I have a beautiful daughter, and I have a great partner, which is like like awesome supporter. As I say, like even he doesn't understand, but energetically was really big help to talk. And he asked me as well, talk to me. And I say like, I wish I could. There is just that deep sensation. Look, I cannot explain even to myself, never mind now others. It's only thing now. In past there was, when these thoughts came in, they were dark and drive was to do it. Now is no drive. I'm a witness. I witness my thoughts, and which is great help as well, because there's no drive to do it. You know, I witness in myself. I allow, like I cried and cried like yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was a really exhausting day, but I think end was great. And I don't call I don't animus, and it's sort of, you know, brought that line balance, and it's fine. But that is deep, and it feels like, you know, I don't know, like, okay, I maybe would like to know, to let that go. Something is somewhere I've been holding on to really tight.
Of course. That's what the obstructions, they're stagnation. We're holding on to them at an emotional level, and they get held in the physical. You see, does anybody know how to do cartoons? We need to draw out the new superhero, the enema bag. It's an enema bag superhero. Anytime, do an enema. Go get a colonic. The enema is the new superhero. I'm telling you guys. It's people say, I don't see nothing coming out. Keep doing them, because everybody's thinking physical all the time. They're looking for something to come out because they don't see it. They don't think nothing's happening. We're dealing with energy. We're not dealing with physicality. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of shit, but not all the time. And don't worry about it. You know, get out that superhero enema bag. Let it do its work.
So how are you feeling now?
Good. Yeah, and interested on the master fast. Like I also was, my intention was to do a longer one, start on 27th of November. Monkey mind was stronger than my soul, as I call now. But like I keep my dries, and I keep like dry windows, and I do also 1-2 days. Very seldom I miss 1 or 2 days a week for MFS. And
awesome.
And the intention is still to do and inspire the ones is doing. And as I say, baby steps. And as you can see, even what I'm doing, like how deep I'm going. And maybe that's why they're like everything happens for the reason. And maybe that's why actually the 40 days and I done was for me enough to not push myself to actually do something stupid. You know, to allow to understand what I'm going through, and allow that, you know, to allow to release, to not do something silly. Because you know yourself, like how many, as you just said, don't long fast and then they disappear because it's too much for them, rather than go slow and steady and keep going until you're ready to dive in deeper.
They're looking for instant gratification. There's no such thing. It's a process. It's a lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we live it. We live it. We love it. And that's it. That's how the simplicity of it all. How others interpret it, it's by all means, I don't know. It's what goes on in people's head, but we've never suggested anything other than it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, we want to go at our own pace. If you feel like 108 days, you know, is something you're ready for, then go for it. But best is to make sure that you're ready for whatever you do, and right.
You're doing wonderful. Life is beautiful. Yeah. Keep smiling. Keep smiling. Keep smiling.
Yeah, and that's what I say, Gino. Like I say, even to Liam, like there is nothing for me to even to have these thoughts, but that is just something is really deep.
Monkey mind.
Monkey mind.
Not you.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah, no. Oh yeah, life is beautiful, and I love it. Like just adore, you know. And straight away he says, you don't appreciate life or anyone. I say, I do.
Like this life is beautiful. I'm sure the other side is even more beautiful, but we have attorneys to play on the other side, so we want to see you around for a long time.
Yeah.
Was anything else?
No, not really. Unless you have some questions. No, I feel like if I eat, like I wouldn't be like 100% strict, like you recommend, but like I'm doing like what is my abilities, and then if I eat too much or heavier, I feel heavier, and then again, jump back in because I don't feel as good.
Yeah.
And it's a learning process,
Yeah.
and as I say, it's flow. Honestly, it's
Go at your pace.
With the animal products, we want to just make sure, try our best to avoid them because of the emotions that we're getting as well from the animals, right?
Animals, oh yeah.
Animal products.
what animal, yeah, because you feel heavier.
Yeah, and I mean the emotions of the animal also when we're eating, we're taking the emotions of the animals before they died, or,
Right.
So that might be something also intense that you want to watch for.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it, the emotions are so much related to the waste, the obstructions, which are feeding the parasites, and the parasites are the emotions, I feel. We are reacting according to these parasites that are feeding on the waste. And maybe when they die, you feel like you're dying. Yeah, this is how I feel when we got all kinds of symptoms,
No, never had that feeling. No.
Yeah, or I mean, like detox symptoms and feeling very weak and stuff like that. When they're dying, they're releasing toxins,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we don't worry about the parasites. Yeah, they have influence if they're living with us,
but they are inside us because of the obstructions.
Yeah. So
as we clear the obstructions, we're clearing them out as well.
We can see that some of these thoughts are not ours clearly.
Yeah.
And we work through it with the tools.
It's like being possessed.
Just a quick question then before. When I do like 1 or 2 days full MFS with 13 tinctures, would you recommend me better to do one fast, like grape juice fast, 1 day dry, and then 1 day, as you just say to someone, without tinctures, or take tinctures?
I would take them on the MFS days, yeah.
Would take them, okay.
Yeah.
Even if you do 2 days a week.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, keep the channels open. That's what they help do.
Mm-hmm.
Try when you don't do it, you're going to feel the difference, even though it's a short time. Like especially when you go long, that's when you really want all the support and so on and so forth. But cheap insurance to for our beloved herbal friends. Oh yeah, Robbie has a question here. Hi all, Gino, you have suggested pineapple to back off the detox a bit, but I am somewhat allergic to pineapple. Go to another juice, a citrus or something, a light colored juice, any fruit juice. Even try, what other juices are there? So much fruit out there you can do. Any juices, Robbie, that is on the lighter side, and try that for a bit and see how you feel. And if it's too much, go to the green juices. Feeling so sick once I start my drinking for the day. Burning and uncontrollable bowel, yellow tint to the black release. Okay, you opened up the channels and the body's purging. This is good news. It is very uncomfortable no matter where I am. Yeah, it is. But currently with people and family, trying to do things in the world. Yeah, it gets uncomfortable when you're, having these runs and so on and so forth. But this is where, the baking soda enemas, you got to do them. You got to do them to help you cool off, because the body's in this purging mode now. It finally let go and it's opening up. And what do some people do? They try and stop it. For me, I say keep it flowing and just use the tools to allow it to happen. Keep drinking the minimal amount of juice, even if you're, it's some of the weaker type of juices, whatever, but keep it flowing, keep it going. You can even do
watermelon.
Huh?
Watermelon.
Well, watermelon is pretty strong. Well, you can try, but it's still pretty strong. But citrus juice, pineapple juice, White grape would be a little less, but
Apple.
apple, yeah, pear, you can do those. There's so many fruit. I'm going blank on fruit because I'm not thinking about food, but there's so many juices you can go with, Robbie, to slow it down. And like I said, even if any of those fruits are too much, you can go with the green juices.
You want them cooked?
Yeah, cook
The
them.
fruit juices.
Yeah, cook them, pasteurized, off the shelf. Still with lemon. Well, if you add a little bit of lemon, it brings up the field a little bit. You can try with or without lemon and see how you feel. So even some wheatgrass shots or barley grass shots. You can also do the implants with those. When you're having the runs, it's a lot of burning that's happening, and you want to keep it cool. So baking soda enemas or the grasses would help.
Yeah, you can cool off with green juice for a few days if you feel it's too much. And then the other thing is, the yellow tint to the black release.
Bile.
Bile.
Liver's purging.
And it smells bad, right?
The odor is strong.
Yeah, usually it smells really bad. Yeah, that's good. That's bile coming from the liver.
You're doing great. Don't let the monkey mind fool you. Use the tools and allow the process to take place. It's not fun. A lot of us have been through it. Just allow it to take place. And like I said, if it gets too much, back off. If it's just too overwhelming for you, you can break the fast properly. But I would do everything to allow the process to happen. You've been through many years of pain and suffering. Allow the process to unfold, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, celery.
No access to grass. Celery, yeah. Celery juice is good. Yeah. All good. Who do we have?
Judith.
Faye? Or who was first, Faye or Judith?
Judith.
Go ahead.
Hello again. Sorry. I just have another question regarding the weight loss, because I already weight loss. I think for me it was just inflammation. I don't even see it as a weight. It was just I was so inflamed from the salt stuff, because I went back to the vegan cook foods, which was the worst I ever done for like in nearly 7 years. And I remember my first master fast. I don't know if you remember, but at the end I was feeling so good. Then I felt like I didn't want to break it. And because I had my family who were just like begging me to go back to food because they thought I was killing myself, I went back to food. And I remember the first, I think I broke my fast with like honeydew. When I put it in my mouth, I was like, why did I do that? Because it even tastes good. And then I felt it straight away, like it was light and everything, but I just felt like straight away, like I was breaking something that could be beneficial for me in the long term. But this time I already have, people are telling me, what are you doing? You have to stop, you're becoming, you're losing weight. Do you have any suggestion on how to handle that? Because I'm still like seriously 10 kilos extra than when I finished the fast like a year ago. But I know I'm gonna lose a lot of weight, but I'm just having an issue right now with people who just keep
Nobody's lost as much weight on their first master fast when they went into their second. Nobody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So don't expect that you're going to lose so much weight. Why are you expecting that? Let the body worry about it. It knows exactly what to do.
Yeah, but how to deal with the people around you? Just keep telling you. It's just staying stronger, I guess, in my belief and in my
it's like people who told you got to eat. They lied. You don't have to eat.
Yeah, I know that now for sure.
They like ignorance, but it's okay.
Keep your dry fasting to minimum, and also the drink enough juice. So these two things.
I'm struggling to drink the juice. Right now I'm drinking 1 liter, 1.5 liters. I'm getting sick when I drink. I tried because on my first fast I was drinking 3 liters. At the end 2, but for the last 2.5 months I was drinking 3 liters. By the end 2, But now, even my pudding, I have to just cut down the amount of everything because I just get really, really sick.
Yeah, that's the body releasing.
Stirring up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would drink at least 2 liters.
Okay.
Just make sure you're drinking enough.
Yeah, if there's a day here and there, you drink a little less, no big deal. But most of the time, keep it up because you've already done one and you've got a good cleaning, but you fill yourself back up.
And
Not to the
how's-
level that you were, nowhere near.
How's the dry fast?
Yeah, the dry fast is good. The dry fast is good. I've been just doing like last week I did 48. I just went well, but I was like, I kept going for 48 hours.
like,
And I know I shouldn't push, but I'm guessing this is my second dry fast.
you're gonna
So.
lose weight fast. I wouldn't
But
do
I
it.
was losing weight fast more at the end of the fast. I mean, the funny thing as well is when I was at the end of the master fast, the 108 days, I was skinny, but I was not skinny in bones. When I went back to food, it was only fruit, and I was eating 1 day a week for 2 months at least. That's where I went like skinny, like really scary. Even myself, I was looking in the mirror, I was like, whoa, this is really like the camp, the German camps.
Last week, you're gonna lose a lot of weight as
Also,
well. It's almost like the same as master fast. But you started
Yeah.
this fast with 5-day dry, right? Or something.
Oh, yeah.
That's already you pushed it up, at the beginning. I would not do more than 24 hours a week.
Okay.
12 hours to, what do you say, 12 hours if you can a day. I wouldn't do long ones.
Okay, so I have to cut out that as well because I'm doing between 16 and 18.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. You're going to lose a lot of weight. If you want to do 108, you're going to
Yeah.
lose a lot of weight. So you want to cut down the daily and the weekly. And monthly, you can go up to 72. I wouldn't even do that myself. I would do 48. And because it's
Okay.
a lifestyle, right? You're not going to gain the weight easily. It takes time for the body to completely clean up and then start gaining. So if you want this to be a long-term lifestyle, so you start slowly.
Okay.
Yeah. So you already, it's day 29 or 30.
the realization
Yeah.
after 3 years, most everyone is not ready for the massive transformation you're going to go through in 108 days.
Yeah.
That's the
almost.
realization. There are people, it's just too much of a shock for the metamorphosis that happens.
Emotion. Like the
Yeah,
emotions
emotions,
are not
everything, yeah.
strong enough to handle like being completely different,
Yeah.
So give your body time.
People that are comparing master fast with juice fasting, they just don't have a clue what we're doing.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. I did juice fast like for many years in a row. And every time at the end of it, I just felt like I was even more bloated.
Mm.
And I went back, when I went back to food, I was just eating even more than before the juice. And I did like every time it was like for 1 or 2 months, just on a juice. And then I tried different kind of juice, even the coconut water and everything, and even the water fast as well. So I tried a lot of them, but nothing is close to the master fast because the master fast really change you from the soul, like from a higher level that no one around you can understand for sure. And then everybody around you think you're completely crazy. But like the other lady was saying earlier, it just forces you to connect with your issue, with whatever you've been going through, all your life and your childhood, that you've been, numbing them with food for many years.
Exactly.
It's bringing there. I was like, okay, watch it. Now you have to deal with that.
And
So,
most
and
are not ready.
yeah, it's the only way you can, I do believe now that it's the only way you can really heal yourself. That's the way I see it now. So that's why I want to go back to it too, because it's such a gift that, I mean, it sounds hard, but once you want to fast, it's like when Ranger at the beginning of the fast was saying, yeah, I'm going to probably do 40 days or 60 days because we're chatting on the phone. I was like, once you pass the 30 days, you're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Because that's where you will start, to see all the benefits, to feel it, and to really experience and understand as well. Because I think it takes a lot of time, especially when it's your first one, to really get everything in your mind, to understand what your body's going through, and even all the enemas and in the oil, and so, yeah.
Also your belief system, right? The first,
Oh, yeah.
you're questioning things, right? Maybe the first month, 2 months, you're questioning, what am I doing? Is this right? I feel
Monkey mind.
Yeah, especially with the long drives. the monthly dry.
Yeah. But strangely enough,
Oh,
I
yeah.
never questioned the master fast itself. I don't know, somehow I just had to believe, when I found about it, I just had to believe that, I don't know, I didn't question, because not having food, because more I was eating, for me, it was not feeling right. But it's just the fact that it's after the master fast that it needs to be a lifestyle. That is something else that it's hard to put into practice, actually, and then keep going with that, like as a lifestyle. But once you experience it, the 108 days, you can't just go back. The difference is just like day and night, like living on eating every day, or even maybe 4 or 5 days a week, and then being on a juice, liquidarian diet, and then fasting. It's just like you feel like as well you're living in another world, because you just see everything in a different way. It's like everything is so clear. You see everything for what it is, and the people for who they are.
Yeah.
So there's no more excuse and no more, I'm just gonna try to understand you, or maybe you have that. It's just that's it, and just that's the way the world is, and then you have to just accept it. But at least it just make your life easier to make a decision, and to let it go the people you don't need anymore into your life, and then to start finally connecting with yourself, your soul, and love yourself, and then just your life the way you always wanted to do, but you didn't have the strength before.
Yeah.
God bless the master fast system.
Amen.
I've underestimated big time how obstructed humans are at this time of in our life. I thought I was plugged up, but people are way more obstructed than I ever would have believed. So it's amazing.
Yeah. At every level. Physical, spiritual, emotional.
Yeah.
Robbie said, yes, Judith, I'm struggling a lot with this too, the weight loss, right?
Nauseous most of the time. Try some ginger also in your kidney tea. Put lots of ginger, and try hot and cold packs on the back of the head. You start with a hot water bottle, heat, and then use ice, and you keep alternating a few minutes each, and end with ice. See if that helps move energy, because your cerebellum's moving stagnation, and that's why you're feeling nausea, and also stuff stirring up within the GI tract. But a lot here, you use this a lot when you're nausea. Just keep your finger there, and just put pressure on it, and that helps with nausea. But you're gonna have to move that stuff out of you, and that's why allow the process to take place. You're doing fine.
And drink enough juice, and like at least the minimum, and take it easy with the dry fasting. Do the minimum as well.
Faye, you had your hand up earlier. You still have a question, or you got your answer? Hello, you still there? Margaret, where'd she go? What day are you on, Margaret? You around?
Hi.
How are
Can
you
you
doing?
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I finished 108 yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
83-year-old, guys. Talk about inspiration.
Wow.
She's the eldest who did 108 days that we know of.
It's 3.5 months, and it's a fourth or a third of a year, which isn't a long time. But when you say 108 days, it sounds like a long time. So I just broke it down the other way.
You look amazing.
Yeah. I was wondering about when you go on a day of eating, do you still take, how much liquids do you add to that?
As much as you feel you need, until your bowels start moving. If you're eating a lot of fresh, ripe fruit, you won't need to be drinking a lot. Yeah. But if you feel like you need to put some liquids in, just drink some.
Most of the time I didn't drink. Like I didn't do Master Fast hybrid. I just had two fruit meals and one vegetable meal, like raw salad. You can have, as much as you want juice. I would do the juice earlier in the day, and then I would eat the fruits and then the vegetables. So
I actually had some grapes and those little orange cuties today. And it was just strange to be back chewing.
Yeah. Your jaw hurts?
My mouth didn't know how to chew. It'd been so long. Yeah, real long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
did you enjoy the food?
Pardon?
Did you enjoy the grapes?
I enjoyed the grapes. Yeah. Yeah. They were good. Oh, the cuties were better because they were softer. And I didn't have to chew them so hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it worked out
Be very
so far. We'll see how tomorrow comes, right?
Be very focused now. Make sure the bowels keep moving. If they don't, continue with enemas. If you feel you need to use some of the assistance of the herbs, continue. But take breaks from them. If you don't today, you don't feel like doing them, don't do them. Take breaks from the herbs. But right now is important to keep that GI tract moving. That's very important. So choose fruits that will go through you the quickest.
I got some prune juice handy, but
Prune juice or soaked
just
prunes.
in case. Yeah.
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 Keep it moving, Margaret. That's the key for breaking a fast. We're not looking for nutrition, the fallacy of nutrition. We're looking for foods that go through us the quickest, because now all that obstructions that the body's loosened up through the fasting, we want to finish flushing it out. That's what the key of breaking a fast properly is. Has nothing to do with nutrition or all that nonsense. And allowing yourself to be satisfied, eating enough that you can allow the emotions to stay balanced and sane. Because when people start eating, it changes everything. It really messes up with people when they start putting food in their mouth again.
Your plan is 2 days a week of eating?
Pardon?
You're planning 2 days a week of eating?
Well, I was thinking on the hybrid, because with the hybrid, do you still have the tinctures twice a day and
if you're
the
gonna
TNT after you eat?
Yeah.
Before you.
It's exactly the same if you're staying on the hybrid.
Okay.
As you go along, you're going to still, if you're living this lifestyle, you're going to take breaks from the herbs. You're going to kind of move out of the hybrid, just stay on the fruit and the, and the dry fasting. Basically, you're moving into the hybrid. It's an art form. You're going to be feeling out of where you want to go with this, but always maintaining the dry fasting continuously and going back and forth on the juices, off the juices, on the fruit, you know what I mean? So it's an art form. You're going to need to make it work for yourself. You're going to be able to sustain and enjoy it.
So you're planning Master Fast hybrid, and how many days of dry fasting per week?
24-hour dry fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people love the hybrid. They stay on it for months and months and months, right? They live on it.
I was on that the last time. After I did the 63 days, I went on the hybrid.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody's gonna be able to work with different types of the systems that we have in place there. From the many options, it's infinite what you can do with it. So just embrace it all and continue. You did great. You're doing amazing. Like I said, I didn't think anybody was crazy enough to do 108 days. Now we have you, the 83 years young.
Well, if you knew me for my lifetime, I am crazy.
So there's more of us out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Awesome. Stay very focused, Margaret. You've been through it before. This is a little bit more. You dug a little deeper. How the eyes? Did you end up doing anything?
No, they're about the same. They've been postponing my surgery though for another 2 weeks. So
Okay,
the universe is working with me somehow.
awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of things start happening when you break the fast. Like, whoa, things start correcting themselves after. It's really interesting. That's why breaking the fast is so important and takes at least twice as long as the fast. I used to say as long as the fast, it's at least twice as long as the fast, minimum.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going to keep up the enemas though.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
you can do enemas for the rest of your life. Don't
Yeah.
believe in all the nonsense what people tell you. It doesn't matter. I have bowel movements. I'll still do enemas. I don't care. I want to clear out. I don't want anything to start backing up anymore. We had a question here. Just a quick comment. Can I recommend this to someone who had congestive heart failure? Thank you. It's from Faye. We don't believe in diseases. It's just another man-made thing. What else are they going to do? Eat their way to health? We've talked about that. We know that only the body can feed, hydrate, heal, and balance itself. So what do? We clean out the obstructions and allow the body to correct itself. In these kind of situations with heart, usually they have problems with edema, the kidneys aren't working properly, et cetera, et cetera. It's a bit challenging. Lots of herbal support. And an understanding of what they're doing. If they're on medication, they got to be careful monitoring. If they're on high blood medication, they got to really be careful monitoring, because you don't want to be taking that stuff once your blood pressure drops. You'll kill yourself.
Blood thinner.
Yeah, I need blood. So a lot of things have to be looked at. Of course, we recommend this lifestyle to anyone. Doesn't matter what situation you're in. We've had the worst of the worst come out of being in a wheelchair ready to die, and is almost in his second year on full MFS, 4 types of cancers, 4 years of chemo. If somebody can go through that, everything's possible, folks. Everything's possible. There's nothing that look at the transformation that happened in Rosie, the dog. Dogs is wonderful animals because they have a short lifespan and things happen quicker in the matter state than it does on us because of their short lifespan. The dog completely rejuvenated into a puppy. People can't recognize the dog. They think it's a puppy. And it's 9 years old. I think it's 9 years old. 11, whatever, it's up there. And they gave the vets gave the dog 2 months to live. Had a huge lump on his throat. You know, listen to and read the story of Rosie. You know, this is what's possible. Everything's possible. The question that you need to ask the person: are you willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what, no matter how long it may take? If they answer yes to all those, and they truly wholeheartedly believe that, they're already healed. If it's just talking and they're not willing to do it, nothing's going to happen. They start making excuses of how they feel, that whatever monkey mind takes over, they're just not ready. And it's okay, because most people are not ready for this lifestyle. This is a niche of a niche of a niche. Very, very few will understand and live this lifestyle. Very few. And we see it clearly now that we're in our 3rd year. So we're here for the people that are ready to be the change. And this is where we're here to show, inspire what's possible. Because everything is possible. We've seen it. People are showing it over and over. And it's amazing. It's just so shocking, the transformation, that it puts people on a spin that they've never encountered, and they're not ready. And this is where the challenges come with the food. So we're at the 2-hour mark. If anybody else got a quick question, we can wrap it up. But it's awesome to have interaction. This inspires us more than inspires you guys. So I get high just listening to people going through the experience, because once you've done it, you understand. Only when you've done it. Unless you've done it, You can listen and listen, but you don't know. Just like food, somebody can describe it to you. If you've never tasted it, you'll never know until you taste it. And it's amazing to have people experience it. It's just amazing. So,
Love you, John.
love you guys. It's awesome to have people that are willing to do things that most people would never do. It's just awesome. Will there be challenges? Of course. Is it easy? No. But the road is simple. We have the basic understanding of how the body heals now, and we're seeing crazy things happen with it, just amazing things. It's just awesome. So let's keep that plasma love always flowing, and we'll see you on the page. And
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love you all.
it was
Love
awesome.
you.
Good night, good morning, good day, wherever you are. Ciao, ciao.